Well, g'day sand trackers and barefooters, how you going? It's Jono Break here and it is live stream Tuesday. Yes, I'm coming to you from the other end of the day now, so I may look like I'm a little more awake. I haven't got a cup of coffee beside me, but I am getting ready. I'm fixing to go for a ride. So it's a beautiful afternoon here in the mountains in North Carolina. So after this, that's what I'm going to be doing, or after the next session. So this is very quick. So what we're going to be doing is just going to be talking about pricing. We're going to do this for the next probably the next few weeks. It came up in an interview last week, and if you want to, you can go back and watch last week's Fireside Chat with an Entrepreneur, where we talked with Kim Griffin, and she talked a bit about pricing and how she prices, and we got into a discussion around, well, what are the challenges with setting price? And having come from the marketing background and then obviously working with a lot of businesses, it's really easy to say that price is a factor of how much it costs you to produce something, and then you need to make some money out of it, and will your market pay for it? It's really easy to say that. And we'll talk about that in a future episode, because I think there's one fundamental conversation, or actually there's a bunch of fundamental conversations that we need to have first, and that's going to be around you and your sense of value. So what is it that is about pricing that gets people so hung up? Well, if I charge too much, I charge too little, what will they think? How will I do this? What if I get rejected? All those sorts of things. What if no one wants my product at all? So there are a lot of things to consider into the mix. And at the end of the day, there are some final adjustments in terms of the tactics of actually doing the numbers, because as a business, you have to make money. I hate to tell you that little secret, but that's where we need to look at this whole concept of pricing. And so pricing goes way deeper than just fixing the numbers. And it's way deeper too. The conversation we had last week was, and particularly a lot of people in my field, in the coaching space, the constant thing is, well, just put your prices up. You're too cheap. If you want to make more money, just put your prices up, just charge more. Now, there's some people who just either can't or don't want to do that, or don't feel that's the right move. So there may be an adjustment in terms of the cost of delivery. There may be a volume versus one-on-one, all that sort of thing. And so there's different ways of looking at it. It's not just about putting up your prices. It is very much about understanding your sense of value, the value proposition that you provide, okay? And if you look at a product life cycle, often you can look at the profitability of a business. So as it grows, it gains in profitability, but then at some point in time, it hits a peak and starts to decline. And that's when, usually when competitors enter the market, price becomes more of a consideration, those sorts of things. And so pricing is what I class as a high level question. I often get asked the question, what should I charge my customers? It's a high level question. So when we have high level questions never get us to the strategic answer. And what we want to ask is a bunch of other questions that are going on there. And I tend to break it down into personal, people, and process, or personal, people, and business. And so the personal questions relate to you and the value you put on yourself. The people question relates to what kind of people, what's my cost of input, who do I have engaged, all that sort of thing. And then the process point is, well, okay, so how do we structurally build the price and all that sort of thing, and how do we develop that? So like most high-level questions, as I said, at the end of the day, it doesn't get to the answer, but let's start to drill down a little bit. So what I'm going to talk about today are two things. So pricing is difficult because there are two distinct areas, and these are the areas I really want to address in this live feed. And so the number one is the number you attach to a product that determines its value. Now, before you jump in, I'm going to actually talk about that next week. This week, though, number two there is the value you attach to yourself, okay? The value attached to you and your business that determines the value that you charge, the price that you charge, the value that you put out. And it's funny, I see people charging too much for little value, and I see people charging not enough for fantastic value. And so there are different things. We'll talk about customers and how we manage that. We talk about price changes. We talk about all sorts of things, how you handle yourself. So today, I just want to talk about, well, why do we devalue? And so I always say to a customer, if you're jumping straight to discounts, if discounts is your only mechanism to actually get more customers on board, then you're down to your last lever, okay? You're down to the last thing you can do to actually make your business work, and it's not a good thing to be down to, okay? If you've run out of levers, if you've run out of value, if you've run out of reasons to exist, if you've run out of why, then you got price. All right. And so that's a real challenge. So I look at business and say, okay, so we've got to build all these other things up. And often I find that the devaluing starts first of all with the owner or the price setter in the business, okay? What do they think, not just what their business is worth, but what do they think they're worth? All right, now this is particularly a problem for coaches and consultants, okay? So I even look at, the price we charge here at Business in Bare Feet to be part of the Sandtrax Club is $97 a quarter. Now you're getting access to billions of dollars, but multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs who are giving up their time to come and talk. So $97 a quarter is pretty cheap, but we are working on a model where we have, a club, a community, rather than just it's a one-on-one. If you go to the one-on-one levels, then it's more expensive, but you can get so much just out of that space. But we've thought through the pricing model, we've thought through the way it works, and we've come out at that level. And you get incredible access because of that. Now, that wasn't supposed to be a shameless plug, but that's an example of how we set price and we set the right price, okay? So some people will go, well, that's really cheap, because for what you're getting, it's massively cheap. But we're also talking to startups. That's a lot of money for them, and it's about getting them to that next level so they can grow, and then they become part of a deeper, more mentoring community. So the challenge is that we keep devaluing. So why do I devalue? Well, it might be that I've built a good rapport with someone, and if I start charging a certain price, then they may reject it. They may just come out and say no, and I really need the business right now. Or there might be a sense of fear around setting that price. There might be if I set a certain hourly rate or a certain product price, then that product's got to perform to a certain standard. And there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of things, and really what we're saying is, am I worth that? Am I worth someone's time? Am I worth someone's attention for my product or my service? Am I really worth it? And so that's what we're really saying deep down inside. So today, as I've said, I'm talking about your sense of value. So how do you fix this issue? Well, this is one of life's complex issues. A lot of people out there talking about insecurity, fear, about how you address certain belief systems, limiting beliefs, and so forth. So I'm just going to go through 4 things I think that are very, very important in terms of understanding how we fix the value we attach, which then leads us to next week, where we'll talk about, now the pricing models. And so first of all, you need to know what you're worth. All right. Now you're a valuable person. You've got a unique skill, a unique ability, but it's not for me to tell you, it's for you to tell you. And so I spend a lot of time coaching people in terms of understanding their own sense of value. I've been coached around it myself to be able to build a better sense of value in me. So know what you're really worth. If self-worth is playing into this talk to someone, get someone around you, get a coach, come and hang out with us in Business in Bare Feet, come and hang out in the Sandtrax Club and join our quarterly programs, our mentoring programs. These are part of the conversations we have. And so you can talk to us one-to-one and hear what we've got to say, and we can coach you through some of that. Recognize sabotage. This is a big one because a lot of people don't recognize sabotage when it comes. And it looks like, how do you describe it? It looks like, that constant thing that you're butting up against. I can't quite seem to make enough money. I can't quite seem to get the right level of clients. I get 4 clients and 1 drops off, or I get 7 clients and 6 drop off, or whatever it might be. It's like the fish tank. You add the extra fish in and 1 fish dies because a certain number of fish are meant to be in the tank, and you kind of, well, that's just my lot in life, okay? So that's often coming from self-sabotage. Now, there may be a sensibility in terms of the volume of clients you should have, but then if you've got a small range of clients, you should be having a large hourly rate or a large product value to be able to meet those clients and be able to profitably run your business. So understand that sabotage is, it kind of looks like that. It's that we kind of butt up against something, or I get to a point and something explodes, or it just always happens to me, okay? All these sorts of things. We need to understand these things. We need to understand sabotage and be able to identify it. Shift your beliefs if you need to, all right? Beliefs, that's a whole other discussion we can have in terms of where beliefs come from, what they are, how we filter through them, how we delete, distort, and generalize information based on what we believe. Now, we have beliefs that serve us very, very well and get us where we need to go, and you'll see a lot of entrepreneurs who seem very confident, and you'll see that they have a good belief system. They believe in themselves, they believe in what they're doing, they believe in where they're going, they're really passionate about their why. And so, but I also see a lot that are passionate about where they're going, but maybe they don't believe the right things, or they don't believe that, I've come across people in business that I don't deserve to be at a networking event because I don't think people want to hear my story. I I don't want to be able to talk to people. I don't think people really care about me. It's like they're rotten belief systems. So understand that you need to shift your beliefs if you want to actually be able to shift your pricing model, okay? And we can talk about the model for that. If you're interested, reach out and we can talk about that. Now, the last thing then to do is to reset what you're really worth. So we've been through knowing what we're worth, understanding that, recognizing sabotage, understanding beliefs, and knowing what we want, and then knowing what stops us getting it. Now reset what you're really worth. Try it out. Be prepared. Be prepared, because there'll be areas where you succeed and there's areas where you fail, and that's okay. But just be prepared, okay? So if you do this, it'll be much easier to set that honest price that you should be charging. You'll confidently go into the market that you want to go into. Not everyone needs to go into the high-end market, and not everyone needs to go into the volume discount market either. There's a unique space for you, but it's going to come back to the value that you place on yourself, the value that you care about. Okay, I hope that's been helpful. I want you to go away and think about those 4 things. There is a blog. If you go to blog.businessinbarefeet.com, the first article there talks about pricing, part 1. Okay, you can go back, you can get this list. We'd love for your feedback and your comments. We will put the link in this at some point in time when I finish off this video. I'm Jonathan Brake, and it's been wonderful being here with you today. As always, enjoy the journey.